It's Sunday. No notifications from my phone today. So I don't know if that's good or bad. But welcome everyone. We're a little bit short-handed today. Kjetil is out sick, and Walt is been. He's out with his wife, I think. We're only three people today, and today's topic is field day because this weekend was the IARU Region 1 field day, at least in most Region 1 countries. Although it's kind of weird, though, because it is field day in most countries. You exchange the same numbers, but it's not the same contest. So it's a little bit weird. And then they put the All Asia contest on the same weekend, which kind of makes for a lot of angry hams from near Europe, Asia.
Even confused hams, I'll tell you, because they do age as the number.
Yeah.
And I worked one of these guys as my number 104. He was really surprised.
Yeah. Were you the one with the ham from Cyprus? Are you really 104 years old?
No, I didn't say that.
I heard. Anyway, let's do the usual segments first, and welcome everyone. I see Andy's here, and he says the bands has been very up and down, and they were this past 24 hours. Definitely. Stu's here. Yeah, Terry's here. Ham Radio Dude's here. And that was not the Ham Radio Dude message I was going to click in, but nonetheless, he's here and Jeff's here. So, and probably a lot more people, though. And while we talk a little bit about our Ham Radio weeks, please tell us your favorite field day stories or moments in the comments, and we'll bring them up and discuss them. But on to the Ham Radio week. Tobias, how's your week been?
Well, it was not a ham radio week, but a short ham radio weekend. So I got this adapter for the Insta360 my microphone adapter sorted. And the trick is you need a USB-C cable that has all the pins wired through, especially the pins that you need to connect the microphone to. That really helps. But they're not cheap. You know the problem when you go on Amazon and look for a USB cable, you get all kinds of stuff. Yeah, you never know what is a high quality cable and what is the cheapest chunk that they imported from God knows where.
Yeah.
The second point was I did the video about the power supplies, but it ended up in a bit of let me show you. In a bit of a cutting fiasco. Yeah, I recorded it and it ended up with 18 minutes. So I don't think I can upload it like that because nobody will want to look at my scope and the power supply and the resistor and me rambling on for 18 minutes. So I have to somehow cut it down in the next week and then I can upload it. So that was my ham radio week.
And speaking about long videos, though, we have the king of long videos in the chat, Ham Radio Dude, so he could probably share his secrets on getting people to watch long videos.
Yeah, maybe a Kenwood giveaway at the end or something.
I actually wouldn't mind your TS50 though.
Yeah, that's
if just saying if you're giving it away.
Yeah.
Now I have a Kenwood from the 80s, and I'd love a Kenwood from the 90s as well.
Yeah, sooner or later you want a real collection. Yeah, you want them all.
In my tiniest possible shack. So, and since Bob is trying to look through his log and figure out how his ham radio week was, he's gonna be last. He's gonna be last today. And my ham radio week was actually pretty slow. I started my week with 3 days on a certification course for work, learning among other things 3D modeling. Audio frequency propagation, and such things. But I also spent some time studying in a hotel room, and that was the perfect occasion to bring the AL705 Magaloop that Walt gave me and try that out inside a hotel room. And doing ham radio, even FT8 inside a hotel room is it's not easy. I think I spent about the better part of 24 hours to get one single QSO. So that was not good. Besides that, I've been working, and then it was field day. But field day is our next segment, so I'm not going to spoil that quite yet. So on to Bob. Your ham radio week. What have you been doing?
I found my log, and it's not too eventful. It's the 10-meter net and the 2-meter net, sideband net. That's all I did. Besides for the 2-day weekend, or 3-day. In fact, we went up on, or I went up with a couple of guys on Friday, and we came back just a few hours ago. So it was a long weekend in the mountains for field day. But I did something interesting for the 10-meter net. I tried a new power supply. I can see if I can show it off without too much glare, but I think I'm going to fail. Yeah, that's from Biltema. If you've, I don't know how many countries they're in, but
I think they're in Scandinavia, but it's kind of a big box, originally auto parts store, but they have pretty much anything. Automotive, camping, boating, fishing, hunting, and pretty much everything is branded with their own thing. So some products are really good. Others are not
interesting.
So good.
Let's say
interesting is a good word.
And I'll continue on this one. It's a starting aid. You can use that for dead batteries. There's a thing. I have no idea how that works, but I've spoken to people that says it does. I bought it to power a radio because it's at a 15-volt output that outputs 16 volts. And it's got this unique feature, which is an auto power off. So if you turn it on and could start to use it, it's going to turn itself off in 2 minutes. That's extremely annoying when you try to play radio. So what I did, it's also got a light. Let me show you. It's also got a flashlight in it.
Yeah.
If you turn on the flashlight, it's not going to turn itself off. So to use this for radio, you have to connect the radio, start doing your radio thing, and then put the flashlight into flashing mode. So as not to burn too much battery, and that's the reason for the black tape, because that would drive me insane. So I taped over it. You put that into flashing mode, so it's sitting there behind the black tape flashing, and you can use this for playing radio. The reason I bought this, of course, is I'm going to Sardinia, and I wanted to make sure I have at least one power supply that I know I can get through flight security for the plane.
But then you said 15 volts.
It's the label says 15 volts. The voltmeter says 16 volts.
Does it at 12 volts as well?
No.
So is this really designed to kickstart your car battery when it's dead, and then run for 2 minutes and then you can start your car again, or?
It's advertised for helping to start your car when your battery is dead.
But I have the old version of that, and that has a 12-volt power output, actually 12.2 or something.
Have you measured that?
Yeah, I've measured it.
All right, yeah.
But you got to do a little bit of, you got to remove the original cable, because there's some kind of electronics box there that kind of measures, have you hooked it up to car battery, and if not, don't push any power out. So but just buy an I think they're called EM5
XT60s.
No, not XT60s. It's an EM5 connector on it.
All right. It's got this connector as well, but that's a different connector for the. I can't get this out, but there's a different connector for starting the car, and another connector for the 15 volts.
Yeah, but the starting your car output is probably 12 volts.
It's hard to think if I get 16 volts from that one, that's straight from the battery. It's hard to think they have a voltage controller in here that can turn the voltage down for the starter helper and still deliver what's needed for starting a car. So I'm thinking this side thing is probably also just connected directly to the batteries. It's huge cables in there. I have no idea what they were thinking, but huge cables. On another stream, we'll take it apart and look inside it. It's funny.
Oh, absolutely. We need to do that. So and how many I guess it's milliamp hours is that claimed to be?
I think it probably delivers on that. Let me see if it says 1500, 15,000. So it's
15 amp hours then.
15 amp hours, yeah.
But that's probably on the cell voltage and not on 12 or 15 volts though.
Yeah, and the reason I bought it is it's also labeled with 54.8 watt hours. So I should be able to bring this on a plane with no discussions.
Yeah, I'm going to see if I can find this on the website here, and we'll pull that up before we start. Pull that up and pull up the one I have and just look at the differences though.
While you do that, I can say that it works quite well for radio. Even with the flashlight blinking, I was playing radio for close to 2 hours on the G90. So fairly good.
That's not half bad. So I guess this is the one you have.
That's the one I have.
Yeah. And
No, it's not. Mine was
this one.
Maybe? Yeah, that one. That's the one.
Okay. Yeah, because this is an EM5 connector, I think.
Yeah.
And the one I have powers 12 volts out from there. I'm gonna find the one I have here, and you can't get that anymore though, because this is the one I have.
Yeah.
And pretty much every Norwegian and Swedish ham have one of these, except for you, Bob. So there's something that you don't have, and this doesn't exactly show the whole picture though, because let's see, it doesn't show the modifications you have to do on it in order to get it to use it for ham. But that's been here you go. You cannot use this protection thingy here. You gotta bypass that. So the thing you get an EM5 connector and put that on a pair of power poles, and then it'll work fine for your radio. And let's see, it's still in store at 8 locations, and one of them is here in town. So let me know if you want me to pick one up for you.
No, that's I can live with this. I've taped over the flashing flashlights. It works for me. 2 hours of G90, it's more than sufficient. Yep. And it charges back up on USB-C, so really simple. And there's USB-C output and 2 USB-A output. So I can charge anything while I'm at it. I had to abort an activation because I was running out of power on the phone that I was logging on. That's just really annoying. If I bring this, I can charge the phones as well.
And the one I have is advertised to be 12 amp hours. But actually, a friend of mine did a contest weekend on one of those, 2 full days of contesting with a G90. So they're pretty nice for what you pay for them, and they don't weigh anything. So for what you pay, they're pretty nice. And I guess these are made in China, so you can probably get them outside of Scandinavia as well, just branded differently.
Probably, and it's fairly rugged. I feel really confident having. This probably some of these. What's that chemistry called? Lithium ion polymer batteries, and that's just deadly. But it's fairly solid. So
don't
I feel
puncture it, otherwise.
Yeah, you know better than most of us. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
That was a long detour and 2 tangents upon each other on my ham radio week. But that's about it until we start talking about field days.
Yeah. And I guess we did field day in a couple of different ways, though. You, Tobias, you had an interesting experience with German bureaucracy, didn't you?
No, I just thought, hey, it's a nice sunny day, and I think it's the Region 1 field day. Maybe I should get out. And then I checked the rules and saw that you had to register yourself at a special website. 3 weeks before, and then I thought, okay, maybe it's not then a field day date for me. Yeah, I could have done maybe a POTA activation, but it did not happen this year.
I would say in between the Inter-Asian contest and the Region 1 field day, there wouldn't have been much room left on the bands for a Parks in the Air activation.
Yeah, but
there's walk bands.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking. Yeah, when I go to one of the WARC bands, then.
Yeah, one of the guys at our field day, he said, I might go to 17 because there are no contesters there, until he suddenly realized that he was part of the contest.
Damn.
But right. I mean, not having to use the work bands kind of reduces the number of antennas you need to bring, though.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Bob, what kind of antenna setup did you have? What kind of radio setup did you have?
We first of all, I went with the Tønsberg group, the Lima Alpha 1 Tango group. It's a fantastic bunch of people, and we got visitors from other groups as well. Yeah, I'm not gonna start trying to remember names and call signs, but we only have one radio, a 7300, placed in a 4x4 meter tent, a huge party tent that someone brought. On a table with chairs, I brought the 200 amp hour lithium iron phosphate battery, and our foreman created a new antenna just the evening before. So that was a 2 times 45 meter dipole with a 15 meter ladder line, and I think just as much rope on the side. So we hung that up between 2 trees, and it was close to 200 meters between these 2 trees that I was hanging in between. The amount of gear going up there, he has a van that was full. One of the other members had a big trailer for the car that was full of gear. There was 2 kayaks. There was a separate tent for the shower. The amount of gear that these people bring, it's just insane. But we had a fantastic weekend. Yeah.
So how many people did participate in your group?
We were at least 10 at some point. So
yeah, with a barbecue and everything.
There was a barbecue, and there was a different sort of barbecue that you can fry eggs and bacon on. So we got eggs and bacon for breakfast. There was water boilers. There were. I should have taken more pictures. That's it's an insane group. These people, they're insane, but they're really fun to hang out with. So I'm already looking forward to next year.
But only one radio and one antenna.
and not really an impressive amount of QSOs either, but
but it's like 9 people have fun. One is at the radio, and then you just swap around. Yeah, so why not?
It was
great fun.
More like 10 people have fun, and every once in a while someone went into the tent and did a few QSOs.
Okay,
so, yeah,
that's seems like a very sane approach to a field day, right? Have the fun as priority and not the insane contesting.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of funny in the middle way, though. I had my first field day 3 years ago, and out of a total of, I think we were about 10 people then. We had 2 radios, and didn't really think too much about the radio thing about it. Last year, we went out camping in tents and hammocks. Tried to do a lot of radio, but field day yesterday or last year, all bands died 2 hours into field day. So that was not too good. See, we got a couple of comments though. Jeff comments that field day is all about the food. And I guess Beamy has been doing some field day activities. He's been up for 33 hours straight.
Okay, I have to comment on the food remark, because the place that we went to, not to put too fine a point on it, the toiletry provisionings weren't great. So I tried to stay on the drink rather than the eat. Not to get into
liquid disposal only, right?
Yes, the liquid disposal. That's a nice way of putting it, and that worked. But I was really looking forward to getting home to put it nicely. Yeah.
Yeah. We had let's see, we had 3 HF stations, 2 7300 and 1 FT710, and the FT710 is a really nice rig.
Yeah,
I was really impressed with that. It has all the Yaesu filters. It's got, let's say, not all of the Yaesu user or non-user friendly, non-friendly. It's a little bit more user friendly than most Yaesus, but it's not an ICOM. Let's put it that way. And the kind of magic they've done with the 2 speakers and everything, it just works. Then we had a 9700 for 2-meter sideband and satellite work. And we had some HTs that none of the people actually bothered to use. But we got started a little bit too later than field day actually started. I was working, got off work 2 hours after, or about an hour after field day started, and then had an hour drive. And by the time I got there, the others hadn't started, still hadn't figured out how to set up N1MM for login, still haven't figured out what antennas goes where and everything. So we started about 9 p.m. yesterday. And did it pretty relaxing. Had a good dinner, a couple of beers, but we ended up having 200 QSOs though on HF, and then I think we had 6 satellite QSOs. Everyone that wanted got a satellite tryout, and we had about, I think, 10 2-meter sideband QSOs. So that was pretty good. Had an Arrow and then a 2-meter HB9CV 2-element beam for 2 meters with what I would call not really good working manual rotor. We just hung it up in a strap across the beams on the porch, but it worked. Pointed it south, and for people who know where I live, south is Sweden, within 2-meter distance. So I got some international contacts on 2 meters. And then we had 2 recruits that were 10 years old and really wanted to do radio, so they did some QSOs. So all in all, was a great time. We talked a lot of radio. We modified some radio. We soldered some things. We cut some cables. I bypassed the EMI filter on my 7300, which you North American viewers don't have, but it's here on the European 7300. And that kind of makes it hard for all the voltage to reach the radio if you have a little bit not too good battery on it. Mm-hmm. So I bypassed that, and it's probably not going to go back on. At least if I don't have any troubles without the EMI filter on it. I see Beamy has a comment here. They used a 991A with a DX Commander Classic and 5 or 6 operators. So that's pretty good. Did everything from 160 to 10 gigahertz and QO100.
That's a nice 991A that can then do 10 gigahertz.
Yeah, they probably had some other radios as well. But QO100, I don't know about the German rules, but and I don't know if anyone doesn't know what QO100 is, but it's a geostationary satellite, which has a coverage area from about India to Brazil, east to west, and then let's say South Africa to northern Norway, and even a little bit further north than that, north to south. So it's basically a geostationary repeater out there. And in the Norwegian field day rules, one geostationary contact gives you 250 points. So we figured next year we're just going to bring a QO100 dish and do FD8 all field day, and then we'll win field day by just doing FD8 on QO100.
Yeah, that will annoy everybody, right?
I want to do that too. What we should say, for people not familiar with Oscar 100, it's not a repeater; it's a linear transponder. So you can have I don't know the bandwidth, but you can easily have the 25. Maybe even 50 QSOs going at the same time over that transponder.
And actually, we've talked a little bit about getting a guest on to talk about it, and I've confirmed that we got a guest to talk about QO100 at some point. So so we'll get some on that, and then the North Americans can see what they're missing out on. But
yeah, they need their own rich Saudi Arabi prince to finance satellite, right?
Yeah, and the amount of gear you need to connect to that satellite it's insane, and it's so expensive. The downlink is on 10 gigahertz, I think, and the uplink is on 2.4. Yeah. And you need transverters. You need 2 radios. Expensive coax, and a lot of patience to just position the dish, as far as I've understood.
I don't think it has to be so expensive, Morten. I think you can do it also much cheaper. At least reception should be pretty simple, pretty straightforward. I think a simple LNB with a bias T and what is it called? I think Pluto SDR at some point
Yeah.
were pretty
You
popular.
you don't even need a Pluto SDR if you just want to receive. And at least down in Europe, the LNB and the RTL SDR dongle. That's all you need to receive at least FT8. But where's the fun in that? That's like watching television. You have to be able to transmit.
Yeah, and still though, and Stu's got a point. You can use the web SDR to just listen, and there is a Q100 web SDR. So for everyone that hasn't been there, go ahead and check that out. Just Google Q100 web SDR. But actually, the most expensive part is the coax, because you need really low loss coax in order to either that or place your transverters really close to the antennas.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have their transmitter very close to the antenna and then just feed it with a Ethernet cable or something. Yeah, so that it's Otherwise, it gets really expensive.
but it is like all kind of gigahertz band work. It gets out of hand pretty quickly. And I don't know if you saw Hayden Ham Radio DX. He did a comparison on the ICOM 905 versus buying all the gear separately to do microwave. And you might think that the 905 is really expensive, but buying all the gear separately is, I think he was $50 off on buying all the gear separately. And the thing with the 905, you have everything you need in one package, though.
That also means that if you have the 905, if one thing breaks, you're offline on every band. If one thing breaks when you have all the pieces, then you just lost that one piece. I'd still buy all the pieces, actually. It's more versatile. But the thing with the coax is that the LNB will down convert from, I think, the 10 gigahertz down to 700 something megahertz. So for the downlink, you don't really need that expensive coax. But for the uplink, for the 2.4 gigahertz, if you want that 50 meters from your shack and to the dish, then you'd better be prepared to pay big money for coax, I think. But it's as you say, Tobias, I've bought some of the parts to put together a rig like that, and my plan is to just put everything out just beneath the dish and to run a coax cable and power cables inside.
So just had to fix my mic mount. It has a tendency to get loose every show. So but the Q100. But back to field day though. We actually the other satellites, the low orbit satellites, gives you 1,000 points per QSO. So that is also a great way of racking up those points. We had one guy doing every satellite pass for 18 hours.
How many passes was that?
I think I think 10, 12 passes, I think he had. Managed 6 QSOs on them. I made it 2 of those 6 QSOs, though, in one pass. It was the quickest 2,000 points of of the whole contest. Because when SO50 came across, there was no one on there. So I started calling CQ satellite. Yeah. And within 7 seconds, I had 2 QSOs logged.
Great.
3.5 seconds per contact.
Yeah,
that's impressive.
And the 9700 is I mean, it's a nice radio for that because it has full duplex, it has recording, it has a nice waterfall that helps you look at where the signal is and adjust for the Doppler shift. And we have LB7 VJ here. He was actually with us on field day. And just so I've mentioned this after the show today, I'm going to release the field day video, which is kind of summary of our field day. So that was kind of my field day. A lot of social stuff and a lot of radio. And when you get hams together, you talk a whole lot of radio.
Yeah, we had the at our field day, we had the unique situation of operating from somewhere there was absolutely no internet, not even SMS service on cell phones. That made for some really old-fashioned, interesting discussions because whenever there was a disagreement, we can just pull out the phone and Google it. That was fun. I'd forgotten how much fun that can be.
Yeah. Everybody has a beer and reconsider their position, right?
I was fairly amicable, but I'd recommend that to anyone. Go with good friends to a place with no internet and talk about stuff. That was fun.
Yeah, and that actually works for field day because you can't self-spot, so that actually works for that. It's kind of harder with Soda and Poda, where you're supposed to self-spot.
Yeah, you could also, if we wanted to self-spot, we could probably do that via IPRS. We'd probably need to reach at least Wittingen from there, but no internet, not even SMS. But I got to test my new toy because I'm going on a small Summits on the Air expedition. So I got a new toy, the Garmin 67i, which has got InReach in it.
Yeah.
That is amazing fun. I was figuring that was a really old-fashioned, boring stuff that you could manage to get a message out. I just left that on in the car for the entire weekend, and there's an app for the iPhone. So I would send messages back to the wife from the iPhone, just as normal messaging. Really nice. Of course, it's going to cost you €0.50 per message, but at least the possibilities there.
Yeah, I've seen those. I saw one of those last week, I think. My daughter's getting her moped license, and there was actually another ham that did some training with her because you can't really help her practice with a car, according to what I figured out. You need to do that with a motorcycle, and I don't have a motorcycle license, so she needs someone with a motorcycle. So who's better than another ham to do that? But you talked about APRS, and I just want to change cams here for, let's see if this is the right cam. I guess you didn't bring one of these for APRS then.
Luckily, no.
and I actually got to release a video on this N7500. It has so much things going for it, and then it has a couple of things that does not work in its favor, such as sending APRS packets out to every repeater in your memories if you have APRS turned on. And don't worry, it manages to embed the CTCSS tones into the APRS packet, just so you're really sure that you'll open the repeater and send the APRS packets as far as possible.
So everyone around the Oslofjord, you know who's to blame for all the opening of the repeaters for the last few weeks. That's he's sitting right.
Since last Sunday, where I looked at the lights on the radio, since it doesn't have a display, it uses Bluetooth through your phone as a display. I just looked at the transmit light going bananas while we were having the stream last Sunday.
Bloody RF in the shack, it's flickering all the time.
Yeah. So I turned the APRS off, and there's going to be a bit of a long saga on how to update the firmware because it shows the wrong voltage, and to make it show the right voltage, as far as I've understood, you need to update the firmware, but it won't update the firmware because according to the app, it has low voltage.
Exactly. You shouldn't start flashing your firmware when the battery is low, yeah? But you better charge it up first.
Exactly. So it's a good way of safekeeping, but it kind of prevents me from fixing the bug in the first place. And with the new firmware, APRS is also supposed to work magnificently. And I don't know if you're still here, Sean, Ham Radio Dude, but I know you have one of those radios, and you could probably pitch in as well, if so. But yeah, I really want that radio to work. I really want to I want that radio to be a radio I can fall in love with, but at the moment it's kind of not that kind of radio.
So is it dual band, or is it just 2 meter, or?
No, it's dual band.
Okay.
And it's 50 watts. It's got everything you need. And the plan was to stick it in the trunk of the car and just use the phone as the speaker mic and the display on it. So
okay, yeah.
No
Maybe you can show the application then, because this is probably where it all falls apart, how old-fashioned or modern the application looks like.
Yeah, let me see if I can find a screenshot of it.
Please show us on iPhone. That's the most fun, probably.
The iPhone app is somewhat broken though.
That's what I mean by funny.
It looks better, but it lacks in functionality. Whereas the Android app looks Androidy and a little bit Chinese, but has all the functionality. Let's see here. I'm gonna pull up here the website here. So we can have a look at it. And I really need to start doing a video on this, but I really want to figure a couple of things out before I start. So you have, see if we can zoom this in a little bit. It actually makes the text bigger, but the picture smaller. So so you have the app here with the APRS map and everything, and it shows the distance to the APRS package you received. So it's really nice in that sense. Let's see. Here's a picture of just the app, I think. So it looks nice, and of course it's not in Chinese when you get it, but in the top line up here, it says somewhere between 0.2 and 8 volts in kind of random intervals. So that prevents me from updating the firmware. And I really want to fall in love with this radio, but I'm not quite there exactly yet.
Yeah, somebody needs to make a radio like that and make it properly, because it's an excellent idea. That would be so. I park my car in the street. I really don't want to have something interesting on the dashboard for people to look and give them the idea to break a window. And a radio like that would be perfect for where I live.
But I think for ICOM it would be really simple to do something like that, because they anyway do all this remote control for all their rigs, it's basically leave the controls on the radio away and spend a few extra bucks on the application. So they could do it if they wanted to.
But if this had an ICOM label, it wouldn't be $200 though.
Probably not. More like 500.
Yeah, or 1,000. So, but it's such a great idea. But it's not. I'm not sold on the radio itself yet. But knowing myself, I'm going to keep it, because I kind of tend to like those things that does not work 100% and has its quirks.
You should buy AC radios then.
and
they have quirks.
Yeah, but
they are special. They don't have quirks.
Yeah, they're special. They're special. But for the record, I love the AC radio, so it's basically all I have. So, but quirks.
But there is one issue that I think this radio is going to have, and that is when the app is no longer supported. And because this radio also, you can also get it in a Retevis.
Exactly. It will die when the next 3 Android OS updates and the application does no longer work. Then
exactly. And Retevis also has this radio. But I've spoke to Retevis. Just as a disclaimer, Retevis has sent me a lot of radios, and I discuss matters with them at times or others. But they have a similar radio, and I asked if they wanted me to review it, and they said no, we have 3 left in stock, and it doesn't really sell, so we're not going to keep selling it. As far as I know, Vero is still going to sell it, but it kind of, at some point the app is no longer going to be supported, and you need to find an old phone, which I have in the drawer down here. I have about 5 old phones, so that won't be a problem. Each running.
Yeah, if they would open source the protocol, then at least there would be a chance to keep it alive. But otherwise,
and then go ahead, Bob.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, and then in the mic port, I've checked the pin out, and there are a couple of interesting things there. You have the audio in and out and everything. Then you have a data signal, which kind of would, and if they open sourced everything, you could really use that data signal for other things.
Or maybe it's just the buttons on the microphone, right? I mean,
no,
sometimes they do.
No, they have separate pinouts for the buttons though. So
okay.
they have a serial pin on it, and if you could kind of match that with Digimodes, it would be an even more awesome radio if everything worked.
I agree. You have to put it on a spectrum analyzer as well. We need to see the spurs on that radio at some point. But
I need to do that. But as far as I've seen, it's pretty clean. So no worries there. A lot cleaner than a lot of other Chinese radios at the moment.
I'm not sure that is really a stellar review in and of itself, but okay.
It follows regulation is already an achievement these days, right?
Yeah, but then again, the Yaesu what's the cheapest radio? The FT4X, the cheapest handheld.
I don't know.
Isn't that you showed it on last week's stream? I think, Tobias. I think it's
but I can't remember the number. I think it was about 79 euros or something, right?
I'm just gonna Google it. The FT4X. That is not spectral clean either.
Which is a bit of a shame for Yaesu, right?
But the way Yaesu has solved that is to have a really narrow band antenna on it.
I'm getting a headache.
Problem solved.
So it's fine as long as you use the stock antenna. But the moment you change it to another antenna, it's.
You mean the one with the built-in bandpass filter, right?
Yeah.
Keep it external, then you save on components.
So, let's say you buy a Bree. This antenna is actually so long that it won't fit in the camera, even when collapsed. If you buy an Abri, it will be really bad. It will be like 104 centimeters of bad. So, and that's not good for Yaesu though.
No, but they. If you want to buy Yaesu handheld, you should probably spend a bit more than 80 euros, I think.
Yeah, but it's an alternative to the Chinese radios, though.
If you want to spend in that area, I would get a Anytone handheld instead. Hey, Tim.
Yeah, Tim's here. Welcome, Tim. Tim and Lewis, when they were guests, we've never had so many viewers after the stream has been sent. So Tim, you actually attract people to our channel. And William says Abri works well on the Quansheng and Baofeng. Actually, I bought the Abri to use with the Quansheng. I'm probably not going to do any videos on the Quansheng though, because the entire internet has done videos on the Quansheng, but it's a nice, really little rig. And Kjetil's here. Welcome, Kjetil. Hope your back is a little bit better. We miss you here. We need at least one more, preferably 2 more, 3 more people to join in the banter.
And some strong opinions. That's always nice. And we spoke about the rules for field day. That would be nice to have the encyclopedic knowledge of Lima Bravo Foxtrot Hotel to end the discussions. But we'll do that next week.
But the rules, we checked the rules a couple of times, most of all to figure out how to optimize our points. And then we just ended up being on the bands. And when we drank beer and ate and everything, we had some FT8 going in the background, so that helped a little bit as well.
You need to highlight Kjetil's comments.
But FT8 is nice. Apparently, it's not real radio, but I kind of like FT8 for its uses.
I did the first almost a year I did the ham radio. I did almost exclusively FT8, and I had great fun with it, and I still have great fun with it.
Yeah.
So I don't get it's not real radio. It's as real radio as CW.
It's real radio, but it's a bit like eating chips. So I when I really force myself, I enjoy like PSK or RTTY more, where you have the personal touch, or maybe even JS8 call, right? But all has its pros and cons, and you can have great fun with FT8. And the big benefit is you don't need, great big antenna, so everybody can get who has a license can get on the air with FT8, and that's its big benefit, I think.
Yeah,
it is. When I got licensed, I started out with an FT450, which is in many ways a great radio, and in many ways not such a great radio. But that and the Magitana with not enough radials and not high enough. But the FT8 made me be able to do radio, though, until I figured out how to do real radio. No, not until I figured out how to do radio in other ways. So,
yeah. And also, I have to say, I agree with William. FT4, it's twice as much fun as FT8, actually.
That's because you can get the contacts in twice as fast.
You'd think that's the reason, but the real reason it's not as many people use them. So it's not so much overlap. You can work back-to-back FT8 contacts for 10, 12 minutes and work basically. You send twice, you receive twice. That's a contact, and the next time slot you do that all over again and all over again and all over again. And that, when you have conditions like that, and the band is not crowded, every signal to noise level is about above 0 dB. You're just racking up contacts and doing that on 15 meters. That's great fun.
Last night, after almost everyone else at field day had gone to bed, because we actually managed to squeeze in about 4 hours of sleep during field day, we were 2 guys sitting up and did some FT8, and I wrecked in 3 Brazil and 1 Argentina on FT4 and 20 meters. FT8 on 20 meters was filled to the brim. There wasn't one free space to get anything through. When on FT4, boom, 3 Brazilian stations and 1 Argentinian station.
Yeah. That's the way to go. And I think the difference in signal to noise ratio is something like 6 dBs. From FT4 to FT8. So even in conditions like that, where you go really that far, the 6 dBs, it doesn't matter. It's nice.
Exactly. And I just want to elaborate on Tim's comment here, because I've done some experimenting on 5 watts mag loop and FT8 this week, as I said in the start. And for everyone that's seen my video, and even the guy that commented that he had done 298 DXCCs on a random wire antenna, which kind of wasn't the point of the video, though. But in 24-ish hours, I managed 1 QSO. So it's probably not the best way for a new ham to start out with a mag loop indoor.
That depends what you mean by antenna, because I would guess you were in a hotel that was full of rebar.
Yeah.
So putting an antenna inside that, it's basically a Faraday cage for HF.
I opened my window, though.
Wavelength and the window size, please.
Standard window. What's a standard window? About 80 by 80 centimeters.
I think you need a window that's at least 1 wavelength for a proper RF to.
And then I turned my mag loop so the direction of the RF was towards me and out the window.
I'm not sure that's how it works. Excellent idea, but I don't think that's how it works. So you were trying to escape the Faraday cage.
Yeah, I tried to. I even thought about managing to figure out some kind of way of putting the mag loop outside the window, but I didn't have a way of doing that. William comments that JT65 allows you to make tea while doing QSOs. The thing is, though, no one does JT65 anymore. I've done 2 JT65 QSOs. One was with Kjetil as a sked, so we had done JT65, and I actually managed to get one other station getting back to me after doing that QSO. But that QSO took about 5 minutes.
So you can make tea.
You can make tea. And since I did that, I figured, I'm going to make a JT65 video to just show how slow it is. Still haven't managed to do that in 6 months. There's no people on JT65.
I think a JT65 video would do about as well with viewers as the famous video Watching Paint Dry.
You could speed it up though, but then it'd probably be like FT8. So
Yeah.
Okay, since we are completely off topic already, I have something to show you, which is fun. I just have to find the right button. Hang on a second. Here it is. Right, this is the website morsel.fun.
okay,
And it's basically like
hang on, I'm gonna do some fancy producing here and see if I can get you and us up larger here.
okay.
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah,
Yes.
so that's morsel.fun. It's like wordle.fun, yeah. So it basically gives you every day a nice word in Morse code, and you hit the play button, and then it plays it at 40 words per minute, and then you can try to figure out what it was. And then if you maybe only catch the first or the last letter or one in the middle, and then you can play again. And the more often you play, it slows down in speed, and at the end you got the word. And I think it's a very fun way to just spend maybe 1 minute a day on Morse code to not forget about it completely. So I can recommend that. That's as much Morse code as I got in my life in the last few weeks. I don't know if you can hear the sound when I hit play. So let's quickly try that. You tell me if you hear something when I hit play.
Nope.
No, didn't work. Okay,
but
good.
if you use the present button in StreamYard, you can check off that you wanted to play audio there.
Okay, let's try that. Hang on a second. Let me get back to my
and then
normal view, and
our
then
normal view as well.
Let's see, present, share screen, window. I have not seen something about playing the audio, but I hit play again.
Yeah, let's see. No.
Yeah, okay. But anyway, you get the idea. So it plays it, and it gets, the more often you play, the slower it gets, and then you can basically fill in the word and hit guess, and then it tells you if you were right. So that's a fun little tool.
I had a plan of learning CW, and then I started a YouTube channel, and that kind of consumes my CW time. So, but I still have the plan though. So, and I really want to do it, especially for things like field day and such.
Yeah, I had the same plan, and then I decided to go to Summits on Year Summit instead. That was the end of my CW career.
But this thing just doesn't cost a lot of time, right? So it's like 30 seconds a day, before you brush your teeth. So, yeah. Just give it a try. Maybe have fun with it. I think you can also customize it in terms of speed. I have not created an account there. I'm just using it occasionally.
So
Kjetil's got a good idea for.
He has a good comment. I'm getting there. So Kjetil will learn CW after you learn to decode reading by ear.
I would start with FT4. That's a lot more to practice on.
But I'm actually I'm at the point where I think I can recognize by audio if a station is getting back to me on FT8.
That's an illusion, but I can do that as well.
Yeah. And William had a comment about trying slow hell. And I actually have a stream about Hellschreiber. And there are actually people doing
Bemi was not joking, by the way. I really copied noisy at 35 words per minute.
Stu is refusing to use any software for decoding. Only straight key in his ears. Does that work for Digimodes too? And would like SSTV, would that work so you can see the images inside your head?
Oh, that would be fun.
I think Station Master Cloud can do everything. Probably also decodes SSTV with the right plugin. But I saw the video about, what was it, RM noise. That sounds really interesting. I have to give that a try.
I'm just gonna. We're closing in on the hour mark, and we actually stayed on topic pretty good today. And I have a video dropping right after the show, so I thought we would just finish up, and I'll release the video once we're done.
Do you make it a
That's
premiere? Then I can join the premiere.
I'm not going to make it a premiere because then I kind of have to sit and watch it myself, and I haven't seen my family for the last week. Pretty much, I've had a busy work week.
Okay.
I haven't been home. I have 2 nights at a hotel, 1 16-hour day at work, and it's a field day. So
Have you checked that your family is still there?
I have checked,
Good.
and they're even speaking to me. So it can't be that bad.
No.
But it will be. I'm gonna manually release it once it's done here. So let's see. Our last segment is usually our next week, though. Any takers on being the first?
Well, I already said I have to cut down this 18-minute power supply video to something shorter in the next few days. So let's see how that goes. Maybe I have to re-record it from scratch again just to make it shorter. Now that I made all the mistakes and did all the editing, I probably have an idea how to do it quicker.
Yeah, and speaking about that though, Ham Radio Dude, he's in our Discord, so you can send him a message and ask how to do that. He did that with his Baofeng video that he released last week.
He did that beautifully with that video.
Yep.
I have to say, yeah. You watch that video; it's great fun to see the effort he's putting into keeping it short.
Yeah.
You don't underestimate that it's really hard work, because first you have to figure out what you want to do with the video, and especially technical videos that can really take some time.
Yeah.
And then you film it, and then you end up with something much too long, and then you think about how to make it shorter. So
also, I just gotta say, I started my YouTube channel, and my YouTube channel turned 2 years earlier this week. I started to show my kids that being a YouTuber is a lot of hard work, and you couldn't really get any viewers on YouTube. I kind of managed to prove one of those points, though. But it is a lot of hard work. I'd probably not underestimate if I say I spend 20 hours a week on YouTube, on everything from coming up with ideas to planning to filming to editing, promoting on social media. I think it's close to a 50% position at any company. So
another half day, half job, basically, on top of everything else.
It is basically, at least if I count all the time I mentally plan for a video, because I never script anything, and that probably shows. But or at least it shows in the 3 videos I have scripted that I'm not really good in scripting videos.
I think it's like anything else. You have to just do it several times before you get good at it. So.
Yeah.
So
your first 50 to 100 videos is going to be really bad.
Yeah, I'm always discovering new YouTubers, not only ham radio related, and some are really, really good in this narrating stuff. So I recently found one who is summarizing German TV, children TV from the 80s. Yeah, so all your favorite episodes of Captain Future and God knows what, and he's really, really good in explaining that within a short video. And I don't want to know how much time that guy spends in writing scripts and cutting it down and finding video clips for every second word. There are so many cuts in the videos, it's like ridiculous. Yeah, so
exactly. And I just want to on a tangent here as well. In Norway, we know at least Eastern German children's TV, Sandman, I think it is.
Was that Eastern German? Wasn't that Czechoslovakian or something?
No, it was East German. Yeah, the guy that goes around and puts children to sleep.
He had a beard like this, isn't it?
Yeah, he had a beard like that. That's Eastern Germany, and that was actually part of the DDR propaganda.
All right.
And it was shown on children's TV in Norway. So
since we are plugging non-radio YouTubers, This Old Tony, just look it up. This Old Tony on YouTube. Go watch it. It's fantastic videos.
Can you spell it? What is it? This Old
Tony.
Okay.
Like Yeah, this old Tony.
If you use the private chat, send me the link in private chat, and I'll publish it in the chat before we go off air. And while Bob's doing that, I could probably go. Well, you didn't get to. Yeah, you editing videos next week. Is that the only ham radio thing you're doing? Trying to get back on track.
Exactly. Catch up on everything, because I always have these great ideas and never get this done because daily life gets in the way of it. Like that microphone adapter, I wanted to build that a month ago or 2 months ago, and now it's finally happening. So I'm slow. I'm slow in producing video and slow in doing ham radio. That's the way it is.
It is. I have some plans for next week, and I actually have what hopefully will be a two-day work week next week. I'm probably going to take the TS440 out for a Parks in the Air activation tomorrow. Probably going to take a deeper look at that radio, open it up and see what it looks like on the inside. I got the spare bulb for the meter on it. I'm going to try to figure out how easy or hard that is to fix. And then I'm going to, for the club in Oslo, they're 100 years this year. So they're having a banquet on Saturday, which I'm going to. Not really radio, but still radio related. There will be about 60 hams there, I think. So, and yeah, that probably will be what I'm probably going to do a little bit more, but that's what I got planned anyway for next week. Bob, did you send a message? So I'll put the...
yeah, it's not a link, but it's just the name of the
channel.
I'll put it. So for it, yeah.
I'll put it in the channel, and I guess this old Tony, and I guess people know how to search. So
let's hope.
And I'll put it up here also for people that are watching this on replay. Yep. I'm kind of in a field day mental state now, sleep deprived and everything. Plans for next week, Bob?
Let's see. There's always on Tuesdays there's the 10-meter rink here, so the net, and on Thursday there's the 2-meter where I'm the controller. I'm really hoping to get some summits the coming weekend because I miss going up in the mountain and doing that. So hopefully I'll get to do some summits on Saturday and Sunday. Wednesday, I'm doing the same presentation that I did for your Hamfest. I'm doing that for the local club at Lima Alpha 1 Tango. So if anyone here wants to come along, visit us, and please come. Look it up on Facebook, Lima Alpha 1 Tango, where the clubhouse is. And yeah, let's see what happens on Monday. I have, amazingly enough, you won't believe this, I have to go pick up half a pig. These are the things that no human should have to say, but I have to go pick up half a pig on Monday, so we'll see if there's time for some
it's
radio.
ham related, it's okay.
Yeah.
It is in fact ham related, yes.
And I actually I forgot one thing though. On Friday we're meeting up at the club station on my club and see if we can get the rotor replaced for the beam, so the beam will actually turn and not point at a direction where there are no stations. So where we have a new rotor, so we're going to try to replace that, and so that will be ham related as well. So then I might be spending some time at the club station as well in the months ahead, getting to use that big nice antenna.
Yeah, be careful climbing that thing. That's dangerous stuff.
The towers, it's a collapsing tower, so it's all lower down. So we're going to do it not exactly on ground level, but not too far high up. So at ladder height. So that's going to be good because, we still need to put the antenna up though to be able to test if it rotates, because there are a lot of trees down there. So it's kind of manually turned in the direction where it fits in between trees right now.
Yeah.
So ham radio dude points out safety third.
Absolutely, every time.
And on that note, I'm going to do one thing here. I'm going to press the publish button, and as far as I know, let's see. No, I got to press this button as well, I think. As far as I know, my field day video is now published. So if you want to help that get some views, go straight ahead. And on Ham Radio's advice. I'm not taking his advice. I think we'll say as they did in the old Top Gear with Jeremy Clarkson. On that note, 7-3.
Bye, guys. Until next
7-3.
week.
7-3.